Welcome, gardening friends, to another little video I'm doing about one of my favorite plants of all, the daylily. And I'm coming to you from Flagstaff, Arizona, from my home. And I sell plants, flowers, vegetables, all kinds of things here at my home at my farm stand. So one of my favorite flowers since I was just a little kid is the daylily. And daylilies are just one of the best plants for the home garden. They grow almost anywhere. They're totally easy care. They're a great plant for a child to start with. And I'm just going to go through and tell you some of the wonderful attributes. I'm going to use this plant right here, which I'm going to show you how to divide them here in a minute. So they have great foliage to start with that comes out in early spring, one of the first things to come up. And you know, sometimes you can have a beautiful flower, but then the foliage is not so good for the rest of the year. Daylilies are great in that respect. Green all summer, kind of a tropical looking, almost a full grassy look, and just beautiful in the yard. And then in the fall, they will turn kind of a golden yellow. Another great attribute of the daylily is its tight habit with these, you can see the tubers here. This is a tight root, and so they can actually fend off weeds and even grass. I use these when I first moved here around my trees as a barrier between the tree trunk and the lawn, so I didn't have to trim that, and it just worked great. So this is the other thing about daylilies is that they're totally edible. So the flowers are edible, and you can look on the internet for all kinds of great ideas of what to do to use flowers in decorating food, eating with, you know, it can be eaten as well as just put on a platter for decoration. And then the leaves can be eaten if necessary. The deer like them, but I haven't gotten that desperate yet. And then the tubers, you can see on some of these, they're quite large. They get even bigger. And they're kind of, I've heard, like a fingerling potato. So good to know if we get into a state where we're looking to eat our plants. But we're not there yet. So let's look at this daylily and what we're going to do to divide them. So this is one of the things, daylilies will spread and form a big clump. Now, you don't need to divide them. I have daylilies that have been in a clump for decades, and they're fine, they're still blooming. But people often want to divide them because they want to move them, they want to share them with a friend, or they want to do something else with them. So I am going to move this one. Now, this was an experiment which I learned because daylilies can, as I said, form a very tight clump. This one has been soaking for 24 hours. So I pulled it up yesterday, it was in the backyard, and I want to move it to the front yard. So I'm going to see if I can get this apart, because it's very, very tight. I could not get it apart yesterday. And I don't think that it's going to come apart today. It's going to need some more soaking time. But I will show you, I'm going to put it back in here. I've got something in reserve here, just in case that happened. So when you move a daylily, what you want to do is you want to cut the foliage off because you've stressed it, and you want to eliminate having the roots support all that greenery. So you just take a pair of scissors, and you just cut it. You're not even going to be that careful with it. You're going to just cut it back to about 6 to 8 inches. No worries, can't go wrong. And that's what you're going to do. Now I'm going to let this soak for probably another week. I'm going to walk over here and get my ones that I know are going to come apart. So just move these real quick. Get that water out. So my friend Charlene, I'm going to put gloves on because this is kind of dirty work. My friend Charlene brought these daylilies over last week, and she said, I can't get these apart. Maybe you can. So these have been soaking now. I trimmed them back. These have been soaking for a week. And what soaking a daylily does, it's just like putting them in a jacuzzi. They just get relaxed, and the roots begin to relax, and then they will come apart. Now this was tight as could be. But you're going to see how easily they come apart now. Just like that. Just keep working with them. And so these soaked for a full week. Now, I have soaked daylilies. These have been soaking. One of these have been at the farm stands. The last one I have left. It's been soaking for a month. It's absolutely fine as long as the greenery is on top. You want the greenery to be under the water and the root is in the water. They can actually stay that way a long time. So you can see how effortless that was. Without hardly any effort at all, these came apart. And that's from being soaked for a week. I found this out one time. My Amish friend, that's where I get my beautiful daylilies, sent me some. They were in a clump. I couldn't get it apart. Tossed them in some water because I was dealing with the other daylilies and forgot about them. A week later, I remembered they were there, and they came apart like nothing. So I thought, ooh, that's a good idea. So now these are pretty much, I'll kind of work more, kind of get these even further apart. But those are now ready to plant, ready to go. So what's going to happen with this guy? Water's going to go back in, and I'm going to just let it sit for probably another 4 days. Try it, see if it comes off. Another week after that, it will come apart. But I'm glad I have one in reserve. Now I'm going to show you some of the different daylilies and the different types that there are. So you've probably heard of the tiger lily or the ditch lily. These are actually kind of hard to find because we have so many pretty hybrids now. This is just the common orange tiger lily, and I have probably sold in Flagstaff or given away probably 10,000. So people either love me or hate me. Sometimes I don't know whether to own that or not, but found these when I was 7 years old behind my house in the Rio de Flag when I was growing up in about 3 miles from here. Took them home, made canals for them, grew them, pampered them, and then of course they did extremely well with that kind of care. And then I've had just millions of them. Literally, well, not millions, thousands, over the years. So this is actually a pretty lily. The stems get very tall, about 40 inches, and nice green growth. This is one that I recommend to some of my customers in Flagstaff who are in difficult climates, difficult growing areas. They don't have a lot of water. They have a lot of land that they're trying to cover, and nothing works like the common ditch lily, which will spread as far as you will let it go. Now these other hybrid lilies, and I'm going to show you these are going to form a clump. They are going to expand, but they are not going to take over your yard like the common one will. So some are, I'm going to show you the different kinds. Now all these I'm going to show you, I got from my Amish friend who I met on the train. And she has been sending me, she does what I do in right outside of Cleveland at the Perennial Post. Maybe you might even live in that area and you could go see her. She has hundreds of different daylilies. Sends me her extras and or ones that she wants me to try. This is a beautiful one called Ghost of Thunder Road. It's fragrant. It blooms for 6 weeks. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. This is another one, much more common. This is called Elegant Candy, smaller flower, but also fragrant. So there are fragrant daylilies. There are, if you read about a daylily, you will read maybe sometimes that they have a pie crust edge. This is a pie crust edge. It's crimped, and it's just really pretty. You also might read that it has pencil mark. This is this little line right in here that looks like somebody drew with a pencil, kind of a line. They'll describe the throat. So this is the very base of this is the throat. Often it's green or yellow. And then sometimes you'll hear them talk about an eye, and this would be an eye. This is also an heirloom. Not sure if it has a name. I've just had it for a long time and really like it, but it's kind of in the same category as the common one. This is a spider daylily, and it's huge. The flowers can get up to 10 inches, and you can see it just kind of has longer, narrow petals that come out like that. That's really a pretty one. And then these are doubles. These are also very, very pretty. And you can see that they are doubles. There's two layers of flowers in there, and this one has the darker center. really, really pretty. This one is double blue blood, and this one is called Land of Promise. So there's lots of places that you can get daylilies. Oftentimes the nurseries, because of the large root, they don't lend themselves to being potted up. So most times you have to get them from someone who's raising daylilies, go to a specialty market, or get them over the internet. So that just gives you a kind of an array of different lilies, what you can do with them. They need full sun to bloom. They will grow in shade, but if they don't have enough sun, they're not going to bloom. They need a minimum amount of water. Everything likes water. There's not a lot of plants that don't want water, but they can go, because of these big roots that can store nutrients and water, they can go a long time without it. And I try to make sure that my daylilies get a good watering. Here in Flagstaff, it's dry in May and June, and so I try to give them a good amount of water then. We get our monsoons, they're good. They're usually just fine. They don't need much. They're pretty much pest-free. They are, because they're edible. Deer will eat them. Deer love flowers, so they'll get the flowers when they can. Gophers and other smaller animals will also eat the tubers, but because there's so many of them, because they're such aggressive growers, a gopher usually can't keep up with them and probably won't kill them unless you just have a ton of them. So that's another great thing, is that they're pest-free. So I do want to mention my book that I just finished. Finished this in February. People are really loving it. And I had another book, Farm Your Front Yard. This is another edition, completely rewritten, and with lots of new ideas. I do talk about daylilies and a multitude of other kinds of flowers that you can grow, vegetables as well, all kinds of things, composting, what plants need, how to protect from frost, microclimates, and dealing with pests. So this is my website, which I think has been holding up here. And so I hope you try a daylily. You will not be disappointed. They are such a great flower. Thank you for watching. Bye.